Hello, Mailman Mechanic here. Thought I'd just quickly share with you an issue I've had today. I have an old vehicle. It's a 2002 Chrysler Town Country minivan with a 3.3 liter engine in it. Very dependable. It's been one of the best vehicles ever. However, I started having an intermediate stall, an intermediate just where it gets bogged down, but never would get a check engine light. Now, this can be on any vehicle. Let me emphasize this. Any vehicle that it has a ECU and ECM in it, computerized. So anyway, let me tell you what happened. I was on my route, and then all of a sudden the transmission just quit shifting correctly. It would get up to about 5,000 RPM, if not scary levels, before it would throw itself into the next gear. And if it did make it up to third gear, if I got fast enough for that and I let off the accelerator pedal, the transmission started making a crazy sound, like it didn't know what was going on. And that's the key. It didn't know what was going on. See, on this particular engine and many engines, well, all modern vehicles, you're going to have a throttle position sensor. It's normally on the throttle body. Depending on the vehicle, you know, every one was a little different, but it has a TPS or throttle position sensor. And then the transmission will have a speed sensor, whether it's a transmission speed sensor or individual wheel sensors. This one only has the transmission speed sensor on it. So what was going on, I didn't realize it. I plugged my scan tool in and it said throttle at 56% open. But the problem was I was just at idle. I wasn't touching the throttle. So what was going on, the TPS sensor, throttle position sensor, was telling it I was going a lot faster than what I really was. And the transmission did not know what to do. Eventually, it started surging and bucking. And finally, I got a check engine light come on. And my scan tool finally said, throttle position circuit high. In other words, there's a fault with the transmission throttle position sensor, not transmission. So you may be thinking, oh no, my transmission's messed up. No, it's not. It just doesn't know what to do. It's getting bad information. So thankfully, the local shop had local auto parts has it in stock. It's only like $31. So I'm going to pick that up, but I still had to finish my route. Once it pulled that check engine light, it settled down. And at so long I'm just giving it light throttle and just being nice with it, I can keep going. And the transmission shifts well enough, okay? I guess it's still, there's a little bit of a discrepancy. So here's some symptoms. If you have intermediate stalling, if you have intermediate bogging down, if you hit the accelerator and it just starts, surging on you. If you go to crank up your vehicle and all it does is just spin, but let's say you hit the accelerator pedal, like if it was a carbureted engine, and you crank it up, and it actually cranks up, fuel injected vehicles shouldn't do that. Okay, so it just there's your symptoms, and when the check engine light comes on and says TPS or throttle position sensor, there's your problem. All right, made it home, got the part. I'm going to show you what this throttle position sensor looks like. Most of them will look something very similar. That's all it is. Plugs in, and this little thing on the inside, you see where it has those two, I don't know what you call it, pokey things. All right, it goes in here, and depending on when you hit the throttle, how much it moves, it tells the computer how much you're hitting the throttle. So on this vehicle, makes it pretty easy. I pulled off the intake, and it's right here. It's connected to the side. Now what I did is, this one is back here. It's the hardest to get to. I take that one off first, and it takes, on this vehicle, 2002 Chrysler Town Country, it takes a T25 Torx. And so, of course, I can't ever find my sub. I took a 1/4 inch socket, put that bit in there, fits perfect. And then you just start taking it out. And once you get it, back out enough, you'll be able to discard the ratchet Try not to lose that bit, and then just do it by hand. You feel a little pressure, you might want to hold it in because that throttle plate is trying to move it. Now I didn't disconnect it, just hard to get to, so I'm just gonna remove it, then I'll unplug it. And I'm sweating like crazy. All right, there's the old one. This you push down. A lot of times I find it easier if you push in and then pull it out, and it comes out a lot easier. So this is garbage. All right, so sometimes I have a gasket. This one didn't come with a gasket, but the old one had a gasket, so I'm just gonna do that again. All right, get it in here, and you'll kind of feel it. No, come this way. You see that throttle body kind of moving? That's how I know it's, you know, in there the right way. Okay, it's back in. Just reverse of how you put it in there, and I lost my other 1/4 inch. So that's what happens. Put the connection back on, make sure it pushes all the way in, and then replace the parts you took off, and it should be ready to go. Not every vehicle is like this. Some of them you got to unbolt. This one just pops in place after fighting with it for a while. Kind of helps when you guide it in. There it goes. What? Okay, and then this little aggravation right here. Just put, this connector is kind of rough. There we go. Slide it on there. It's on there. There. Breather. Slide it on. I know you like my duct tape, or my electrical tape. And make sure you don't forget to tighten this. All right, now we're gonna clear the code and crank it up. Okay, so a while back on eBay, I bought this for like 15 bucks. Just a simple, cheapo code reader. All modern vehicles will have a OBD2, onboard diagnostic 2 port. Slide that up in there, nice and snug. Okay, don't crank it up, put it up on, and then just run through the screen, diagnose. What I'm gonna do, I'm looking to clear the code that came on here, so when it cranks up, it actually starts relearning the new sensor. Say it says DTC, diagnostic trouble code in this ECU 1, read the codes. And it says throttle pedal position sensor circuit A high. I just replaced that. So the next thing is gonna say, I'm gonna back out and I'm gonna erase that code. Sure, yep. Turn the engine off. Engine on, engine off. Enter, and it's cleared. So turn this off, turn it back on, and crank it. Hit that throttle. Now watch, I'm gonna do something here with this. I'm going to data stream, enter. Now this is a cheapo unit, you know, not everyone's gonna be like this. Now let me go down to where it says, nope, come on. Throttle position, 14% open. So let me mash it just a little bit. Yep, it's normal because the old throttle position sensor at idle, instead of it being 13-14%, would be 56, but it wasn't idling that fast. So again, the throttle position sensor was bad. Okay, and that's all there is to it. See you at the mailbox.